So you must have listened to Joe Biden's acceptance speech, right?
Yes.
And of course, some of the American media describe the speech as being powerful. So how's your view on that?
Yeah, I think so. It's powerful, but you know what? If you notice, he's reading from the teleprompter.
Yeah.
A little bit, okay? Which is okay, but I think this shows the signs that they don't trust him. See, no. What I'm saying is that he has a problem of the speech a little bit, and he might just say something that might be out of
the context. Yeah.
Context, right? So I think this is something that to show that maybe he might not be a candidate for the second term, which makes the vice president role very important.
That's right.
Well, so with the speech that we just heard just now, is this expected from you, where he keeps saying that America has been in the darkness for too long, too much anger, too much fear, too much division? Is this expected from you?
Well, you know what? You have to say that it's a propaganda a little bit, okay? But you have to, because on the other side, you have Trump coming on everything negative about Joe Biden, right? And they're supposed to reach out to not only the Republican, but Democrat and the moderate as well, everybody, right? So the speech needs to be about the character a little bit.
That's true,
You see, usually in the old days, they talk about different policies. Okay, the Democrat would want to go this way, and that would be how that would be good for the country, like that. And you can notice that this year they talk less about policy. You haven't seen that yet.
That's right.
Right? So it's more like a character issue, which they think that this is the key thing. Because according to the survey, Joe Biden is not likable very much, okay? The only reason that people would go for Biden is because they don't like Trump.
It's a vote for Biden is a vote against Trump.
Right, something like that. And that's why the character, it's quite important to come out.
Because I noticed that in his speech, he tried very hard to draw a contrast between him and Trump.
Exactly.
I mean, at one point, he compared himself as the light, Trump as the representative of darkness, right?
and another thing, if you see that the point of attack is the coronavirus, how failure that Trump has handled the coronavirus that made a lot of Americans die. I think this is one of the key point that he wanted to point it out, that if he becomes the president, he will rewrite everything and make sure that the coronavirus will be taken in a more serious way.
That's right. You're right, because I think the emphasis of his speech was less on policy directions, but more on attacking Donald Trump, blaming him for everything that goes wrong in America right now. So you think this will in any way strike a right chord with the American people, especially those who are still supporting Trump?
Yes, for those who are hardline Trumper, I don't think you can say anything that will change their mind, okay? Because Trump is like God to them. Okay, I mentioned that before, right? But they are hoping to persuade the moderates, the Republican moderates, that might be attached to Trump that much. Because so far, these moderates have been the group that complaining about the mishandling of the coronavirus. And it affects their life as well. Even some of their friends, their relatives die. So this is something that will get into their hearts. So if Biden can stretch on this point that he will take care better in terms of this, it might change their mind. So I think that what they're trying to do here is try to get the moderate. To get the moderate. And remember that the Democrats is very multiracial. The black, the Latino, the Asian, even among the Democrats themselves this time, they even complain that when the first night, when they have the celebrity come to speak, right? The ratio of the Latino were less than the Asian. Even that, they claim about that. So this is something it's a very important thing in the American politics. You have to be able to equalize, the importance of the Latino, the Asian, the blacks and everything. And this is how the Democrats are about. So Democrats have to confidence. Yeah.
And most of the key speakers during the past 4 nights, apart from the cultural diversity we're seeing, most of the key speakers were women. Is there some sort of significance here?
Interesting. I haven't noticed that point that you mentioned, but come to think about it, yes, maybe. Well, maybe because they want to promote women because now you have first black Jamaican Indian
candidate
black,
for vice
right?
president,
African American to be the vice president, and the role of this Kamala Harris, right? It's very important because you know that Joe Biden is already over 60, 65, 60.
Yeah.
So she cannot be just like Trump have Pence, Mike Pence. Mike Pence has no role at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Mike Pence is just under the disposal of Trump. All right. But I think Kamala will play a more active role.
Yeah.
But again, in the Constitution of the U.S., there is no official role of the vice president. It's up to the president.
Yeah.
So if the president assign more works to do, then that vice president will have a lot of things to do. If not, the vice president will be just on the ceremonial thing.
In fact, there has been a joke in America that the vice president candidate, a vice president makes headlines only when he or she is the candidate.
Right.
After the election, they will be forgotten.
They will be forgotten. They will come back again when something gets wrong with the president because people will look at that person because he or she will become the president. This is the key thing. They said that it's one heartbeat away from being the president.
We were talking about the role of women
Yeah.
in this election. So how significant do you think the women votes in this particular election will be?
You know what? One thing that's good about American politics is that they are so good about statistics. They do statistics on everything. And they realize that, for example, the last time, some blacks went Republican. Usually blacks belong to Democrat. But last time, some black went to Republican. And they said that might be one of the reasons why Hillary Clinton lost that time. Okay. So this time they want to make sure that blacks stay with the Democrat. So as the women. The white women usually, it depends, okay? But last time the white women also went Republican as well. So this time they want to make sure that if they can have white women that can turn them to the Democrat, it would be better. So I think what they are seeing here is that they are competing with the vote of the women between the Democrat and the Republican, as well as the blacks. Because I think that the blacks will be the decisive vote. Not only that, from 2016 to 2020, the ratio of the Asian American has been increased like 25%. Meaning that you have more of the Asian Americans that eligible to vote, 5% more than in 2016, last 4 years. So that's what they.
The non-white vote,
non-white vote
will be very significant.
Very significant, right? Yeah.
But what we noticed during the Democratic conventions here, there's one sort of strategy that's really interesting, is that they highlighted Joe Biden's tragedy where he lost his wife, he lost his son, to gain this empathy. So is that some sort of strategy to differentiate from the Republicans?
I don't know. This may be something personal to him, and maybe it's a point to show that he has been through a lot of things and he still want to come forward to do the job for the country. Maybe. As I said before, that Joe Biden is not the most liked guy. Okay,
not the best candidate.
Not the best candidate.
Or maybe he's using that empathy to say that he understands that people who lost their loved ones during the coronavirus pandemic. So maybe he might be convincing those people to vote for Joe Biden.
But again,
would that be the case?
Right, but again, remember, Donald Trump just lost his brother.
That's right.
Correct. So maybe that's not might not be a good strategy. I guess it's just a biography of that person.
Yeah.
That you have lost that, you have lost it. It's okay. And I think for Trump, when he first came in, they also talk about his biography
yeah.
as well. So maybe that's a point to show who you are.
That's
okay.
right,
Oh,
yeah.
all right. But I think what they try to show here for the Democrat is that they try to show here that we can come back to a normal president again, if you know what I mean. Okay.
Right.
They thought that this Trump thing was very abnormal,
Yeah.
and it should be gone, and we should be able to come back to the normal business. That's what we were trying to send the message.
No, but if we subscribe to all the opinion polls in the past of 2 months, the conclusion is that Joe Biden will win, right? But with Trump, I don't think we can write him off, right?
You're correct. You're correct. I think it depends on what's happening between now and November 3, right? If he can come up with the magic that he can come up with the
Miracle.
the
miracle he has been talking
the
about.
vaccine,
Miracle that will
the
solve the
vaccine
problem.
and the economy will pick up a little bit. He got the stock market up a little. You never know. All right, you never know. But so nothing is certain. But at this point, up to this point, yes, Joe Biden has the advantage, and disadvantage is reducing a little bit right now, but still having the advantage. But remember, this is because this week you're having the convention of the Democrat, and that's what that helps. Wait for next week. Next week when you have Republican come in,
Trump will have his stage,
we have to look at the poll next week to see how down with the Democrat or how up with the Republican. We'll see. We have to pass that first.
But I'm sure that Trump will keep to his style of attacking his opponents, right?
That, you see, Trump's strategy is that he will keep his base. That's the key thing. He doesn't expand himself outside of the base. We're different from the Democrat. The Democrat have to try to grab everybody into the umbrella, right? But for Trump, he doesn't care about people who are outside the Trump thing, right? Because he believes that he can keep the Trump's supporters, maybe 80% or 90% of what he had 4 years ago. He might get it. The reason is that remember I said that the Democrats, the people who declare Democrats, are larger in terms of population than the Republican. So how does that make a significance? It makes it significant because the election of the U.S. is not the election of the population. I mentioned that all the time. It's the election of the electoral college, not the people who usually go to vote.
You don't win by popular
You
vote.
don't win by popular vote. And I mentioned before that even he lost 5 million, he still could have a chance to win if he can get a little bit of this, a little bit of that in about 10. What is that state again? I mentioned
swing state.
Swing state.
Yeah, that's right. I believe that Donald Trump will try to continue to portray Joe Biden as part of the establishment, as part of the swamp that he preached to drain, right? 4 years ago, right? And in his tweet today, right? As Joe Biden was speaking, Trump has already started tweeting, and saying that Joe Biden has been in politics 47 years and nothing has been done. So I don't think he can do anything, just words. So I think that is exactly the Trump's strategy, is to attack Joe Biden's record.
Right. And Obama came out with the speech, which was brilliant.
Yes.
The speech of Obama. Usually, traditionally, the past presidents will not criticize the present president.
That's right.
Okay, usually, but
It's very
with
unusual,
Trump,
very
you have to do something different.
It was very harsh, and Michelle Obama did it first,
Exactly,
and then
exactly.
Obama came after that.
But every day when Trump talked to Obama, he didn't give Obama any respect at all. I can understand if I were Obama, I would feel that this is my turn to say something too,
And his remarks were definitely very straightforward, and we didn't even expect former President Obama to say President Trump hasn't even grown to the job.
But that was polite already. That was already polite. Okay, I mean, I'm sure Trump would have had his own version, if you want to say that, something like that. Like he was stupid. He would use that kind of words, that kind of thing.
Sleepy Joe.
Whatever.
I'm sure he will continue to use that term to describe
because
Joe Biden.
he is liked by that. You've been reading his tweet, right?
Yeah.
Read the tweets of his follower, not him. not him. When he has a tweet, puts into the follower
Yeah,
who
yeah.
comes up. You will find out that his follower look up to him. Anything that he said, President Trump is like everything he is right and everything. And they will comment that he's playing golf too much and that kind of thing. And the supporter would come up and say he works so hard and everything. Oh, yeah, unbelievable. You know, you read that, you can see that he is in a very protected area among his
So I
supporters.
believe that the biggest challenge for Trump now is somehow to try to find a way to show the American people that he has a plan to deal with the coronavirus pandemic, right? But because that's the point that Joe Biden attacked him on quite heavily today, that Trump doesn't have a plan and then he failed in every aspect in dealing with the pandemic.
Not only that, I think if you mentioned that Joe Biden speech, he said that if he become president, he's going to make the wearing the mask a mandate. I thought that might be a little bit too strong from my personally, because he's going to set it as
they were scared of Trump.
So the moderate Trump might just say, no, not changing, right? I mean, I might want to change to Biden, but if you force me to wear, wearing a mask, it becomes a big issue in the U.S. politics because number one, people believe, the Republican are conservative. A conservative, they believe in God. You wouldn't believe it, in a country that is so advanced. They believe in God, and they believe in God that God breathed into a person, and that a person alive.
That's right.
So they were saying, like, how would you be able to do something against God?
How can you deny the air given to you by God?
And that's not a joke. They say it's very serious. Number two, the First Amendment. First Amendment guarantee the right of the people. That's why they don't scare of the police or everything, because they have their right under the Constitution. So they are suing the authority. What right do you have to force me not to breathe without the gas? So it's become a big issue there. So if Biden used this strategy that mandate, I think he's gonna have to look up to some kind of a problem, not political but legal problem as well, because I'm sure the Republican, number one, I don't think they're gonna do it, and number two, they're gonna sue the federal government for that.
And it seems like all of the key speakers during the past 4 nights, whether it's the Obamas or the former rivals of Joe Biden, they all said that President Trump failed in handling the coronavirus pandemic as well as the racial injustice. But there's also another issue that we haven't even talked about is the immigrants, because they even had this video presentation about the lives of those immigrants who actually had to be separated with their parents because of the law that President Trump has imposed. What is going to happen if Joe Biden does win the election?
You know what? A lot of people has been asking me that what would be the period after Trump? We would go back or like the old normal? And I said that something is irreversible, because Trump has done things that number one, I think he has created a version of Trump in many countries, even in Europe. You have people who say, now, hey, we have to be nationalistic as well. We're not going to do this. We're going to do it everywhere. So Trump has created some kind of a new normal. So I don't think Joe Biden, no matter how he tries, he cannot have the kind of a geopolitics the way before Trump. Exactly the same.
No U-turn.
No U-turn. But it will be better.
U-turn.
It will be better. It won't be that confrontational. It will be more human, approach, and it will be more compromise. But it won't be able to go back to the old way, unfortunately, because of Trump.
But as far as Thailand is concerned, who should we be more comfortable with as president, Trump or Joe Biden?
Both, if we know how to. For example, with Trump, right? We would be very comfortable if Trump doesn't know where Thailand is, can't pronounce the name of Thailand, we are okay, because he's not going to look into the detail, what kind of trade that we have with that kind of thing. So we be safe in that, right? With Democrat, we're going to have to work harder in terms of improving the life of our immigrant in Thailand. How we treat our neighboring
Migrant
Yeah,
workers.
right.
So what do we have to watch out for the next week's Republican conventions? What are the topics that we have to watch out for?
I think the key thing that the Republican next week is going to come out is going to say that well, we need the security, okay, and Trump has made America great again. So they're going to talk about that. They're going to talk about the kind of achievement that they have got. For example, that the economy was good before the coronavirus, and how American companies abroad come back home and give rise to the wages of the American worker, which is true, okay, which is true. And Trump kept saying that he's the best one that give all the benefit to the blacks, and some of it are true as well, okay. So I think they're gonna stretch on the achievement in the past again, and they're gonna say that they're gonna keep on with this path, and they're gonna make sure that coronavirus is gone, and it will come back to the glory of what happened before.
No, but it will be very interesting to see how he will address the issue of coronavirus, given the fact that he has been seen by many people as being a big failure in dealing with the issue.
And I'm curious to see what kind of convention it will be. I don't think Trump's going to be online with one person like that. That's not his style.
He needs
audience, and he needs audience, and
he needs the applauses.
Right, he needs an audience. He needs people to react, to clap the hand when he says
Applause, balloons,
applaud,
and
yeah,
everything.
like that, yeah. So I don't. It will be interesting to see that.
Okay, we may need to have you back again next week.
For the Republicans.
For the Republican. Okay.